ignorance. I see.
I don't know why that triggers me. I'm so sorry.
I don't know why. What?
You know, when the prompt comes in and the meeting has now been recorded, and I immediately go to leave meeting, run.
Do you think the government is listening in? Does it sound
Oh my God.
I don't
No.
understand.
I don't, honestly, outside of all that conspiracy theory and BS, I don't even think the government's checking for me. I have nothing for the government. I don't even think they want my
Except taxes.
genes.
You got
They don't
taxes,
want my
don't
money.
you?
I don't
Wow.
even think they want my money.
Your
I have
money's
so
no
much
good to
student
them.
loans. I'm saying, as of student loans, my genetic makeup isn't the greatest. I don't have elite super strength, speed, physical attributes. I don't have the best qualities of being a superhuman that they will want to show off to the quote unquote aliens. I don't think the government gives two rats asses or 2 red cents about me.
Wow.
This is why I'm here on this podcast talking a whole bunch of shit.
Well, as a Black woman in America, the government already doesn't care.
Oh,
so let's
man.
drop some real gems on this conversation. But on top of that, yeah, the devices that you have every day may be listening, but be on some girl on to the next. She ain't got enough for us.
Yeah, I definitely believe that. I believe that there's more spirits around than the government infiltrating my apartment.
Spirits. But at least
you don't believe in spirits?
No, of course. But what I'm saying is, at least the spirits can't knock on your door or anything.
Yes, the hell they can. You never heard about Jumbie stories?
I've heard a bunch of Jumbie stories, but what I'm saying is, all right.
They can knock on your door. That I don't understand. Yes, both the government and Jumbies can knock on your door.
But who's collecting taxes?
Who knows? What kind of taxes are you talking about?
Unless there's a tax collecting Jumbie out there, oh baby, I don't. That's a double nightmare.
It's called the Susu Jumbie.
Susu. Are you a part of a Susu?
I've never been.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't know what you're missing.
It's been kind of taboo.
Is it? Susus aren't bad. They're frowned upon.
Yeah, no. In my household, it's been taboo because my grandmother never allowed us to actually be a part of the Susu. So.
Oh no.
Yeah, but she was the kingpin of many, actually.
Not kingpin.
Kingpin. People used to come knocking on the door, knock, Susu Jumbies, come knocking on the door trying to figure out what's going on. And she would be like, hey, check me back next month, eh? And I'm like, oh, okay. And then, it was like, oh, yeah, she got the so. So I'm like, oh, okay, I get it now. But, there's a tired old history behind the ideas of Susu and them not letting Black people have banks. And then we had to create our own banks. And this is where Susu stems from. So,
yes, yeah. Know your history. Now, the new Susu Jumbies are Forex people. So,
Forex. Forex, or you go on Instagram, let me get your cash at, give me $1 and I'll make it into 500.
No, those are scammers. That's a whole different category. Let's not interchange the two, okay? Let's not at all. Whew. All right, let's get started. Do you want to introduce us? Come on.
Of course. You know who I am, R to the OV. Isn't that who I am? Huh?
That is who you are. Yep.
And welcome to my show.
Yeah, talk that shit. Yeah. No.
Sophisticated Ignorance featuring Vixen J.
I'm the guest today, y'all. I'm the guest.
I kid. Welcome everyone to another episode of Sophisticated Ignorance. We are glad to be here with you guys. Introducing my co-host, the one and only Vixon J, and your girl Rovie. You're welcome. I'm glad to be here with you.
Same. I am also glad that we are here. Another week. The world is worlding, but we have some things to talk about. And one of those things is love. Love is blind, and it can take over your mind. You're supposed to continue the lyrics.
I didn't know what you were singing.
You need to elevate and find love.
Ooh.
Sorry.
We trying to get listeners here, and you've just made the dogs bark in the dog park next door.
I'm no Kid and Fury. I am not going to say. I only sing when I am feeling the spirit, and I guess the spirit left me, so I will stop.
Oh no, it's okay. Next time, you just need some vocal lessons.
All right. Well, that's not going to happen. So you're going to get these horrible vocals from me until then. But anyway, so yes, today we are talking about reality TV love and why it is so addicting / damaging to our own perceptions of love in the real world, outside of the cameras and productions. So yeah, we have a lot to discuss on that. For those of you who are into the reality TVs, there's the 2 shows that are out right now. Love is Blind on Netflix, for those that have been watching, and 90 Day Fiance, which we'll get into later. But yeah, Love is Blind is the one that is captivating everybody's screens right now. They also have other versions too, which I didn't realize until a coworker told me. There's a Japanese one, and there is a Colombia, I guess. The other one's Colombia.
Yeah.
So there's right, there's other ones in different countries, and I hear they're all good. But I only watch the one that is here in the States. So
right.
Yeah. So Love is Blind. Walk us through what that's about for the audience who is not familiar with the show or refuses to watch.
So Love is Blind is a new reality show that really wants to answer the question, is love really blind? So they take a couple of participants, and they have a house or apartment kind of domain where women live, and then there's also another house where all the men live, and the only way that people can interact is through these things called pods. And the pods are like a 2-way type of communication where you talk to someone through a wall. So you're able to talk to someone on purely an emotional and communicative level versus seeing them and see what their mannerisms are. And, they roll their eyes or something you say. So you're basically just, doing dating through a wall, kind of like online dating minus actually being online. So
no, I was gonna say it's more like being on Tinder, but no one has a profile picture, and all you have to work through is bios. And if you know online dating, just reading a bio alone is already just what the fuck. So
I don't think Love is Blind even gives you a bio, right?
No, what I'm saying is like the people on the opposite sides of that wall, all they have to work with is by getting to know the person. That's pretty much their bio in a sense.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, it's kind of wild. Yeah. Could you be on Love is Blind? Oh well, first of all, yes, I have watched a few episodes. I haven't watched the first season. I just caught a couple of episodes of the new one. So yeah, I'm familiar with it. What about you?
I've watched both seasons. They both was wild. I watched the first season as it happened, in real time. And then this one, I was kind of slow to it, but
Mhm.
I caught the tail end, and I still caught up with like the weekly reveals on Netflix. But it was actually pretty good. I feel like this season was a little bit more controversial in a
Ooh,
sense.
we love the dramas.
It was more dramatic, definitely this season, this second season. And I love a good drama, but
You know what I'm laughing? I'm laughing because the
what?
one thing I hate about the show, so this is like video production, like nerdiness. I hate that every moment like something dramatic happens, the freaking music comes on and it's some type of cheesy, dumb song that it's like mass specific to what just went down. So like let's say if two of the people or a couple or two people are talking and one is like, yo, I don't like the way you referred to me just now, then there'll be some type of wild, dramatic opera style song that's like, oh, you hate the way I am and you love the way I am. It's some bullshit. I don't know. The music annoys me in that show, but that's just my mini rant. Carry on.
Yeah, well, I don't think anybody else picked up on it because they were so in tune with the actual show and not, listening to audio bites. But I get it because that's what you do. It would trigger me as well too. Me personally, I would do Love Is Blind. I feel like, hell, I'm on every online dating app right now, which I'm about to get off. So I don't see why not. I even said I would probably even try Married at First Sight, but that's an even bigger commitment than actually doing Love Is Blind. At least Love Is Blind, they can say no before they actually wed. So in that premise, I don't know if anybody watched the show, but there'll be spoilers. As
Yes.
we know, in season 2, they had the same amount of stats as season 1. They had 2 couples actually get married. Those 2 couples were Ayana and Jared. A lot of people rooting for everyone Black. Yeah. And then Danielle and Nick, they both got married. A couple of the others who did not make it down the aisle. Of course, we know Shake and Deep D. I was actually rooting for them hardcore, but we'll dive more into it about their dynamics of their relationship. Natalie and Shane, I didn't think they were going to make it at all, and I'm actually prouder, that a lot of women are stepping up and saying no. That's another reason why a lot of women are single to this day. Our standards. Mallory and Salvador, I was kind of iffy about that. I was shocked that Mallory said yes and Sal said no, but he knew that she never loved him because,
Mr.
you
J.
already know that story.
Yeah. So, okay. So, disclaimer. I didn't.
Hold on.
Oh, no. Sorry. Finish. Yeah. Go on.
Oh, wait. You watched it?
No. Finish what you're saying, then I'll.
Okay. Explain. I was about to say, finally, Shayna and Kyle, and we all know how that ended. So that's it.
What I was going to say is that I didn't finish the season, but that's fine because I wasn't extremely invested in the show.
I asked you.
But
I said spoiler.
Okay,
so
spoiler for the audience, not for me.
I hate what?
It's the audience that the people listening. That's the spoiler. But that's fine. I watched enough of the show. Believe me, I watched enough of the show to get it. I don't need to watch every episode. I don't need to see every episode.
What's going to happen?
Not even predict, but just to get the premise of the show and to understand the people involved and all that stuff. So I didn't really have to see the whole thing through to kind of get the gist. Like everything that you just said, or all the people that ended up together or not together, pretty much seemed predictable from the episodes that I watched already. So you saying all those like results for me was not extremely surprising, based on how they carried out for the episodes that I at least got to catch thus far. But yeah, as you mentioned, there was a lot of drama. Of course, it's a reality show, so there's always going to be some type of fluff. But there was definitely a lot of drama. And one particular point that got the timelines a buzzing was between Iana. Am I saying her name right? I'm probably saying her name wrong.
Ayana
and Jared. And just to break down specifically for those who haven't watched, so there was a love triangle, and I'm quoting love triangle because was it a love triangle? I mean, keep in mind these people were getting to know each other in pods. My hot take on that is a whole different story, but it doesn't matter. The point being is, this guy named Jarrett, he was one of the guys that were, you know, trying to find love through different people, and he came across this person named Mallory. Now, Mallory and him were vibing well, and it got to a point where the premise of being in the pods is that you have to blindly propose to the person, and then you meet them in real life, and then you kind of carry on. So while they were in the pods, Jarrett decided to propose to Mallory. Mallory declined, and then Jarrett then went to Ayana, and
See,
then
now you're
decided to.
doing it wrong. She didn't
I'm not doing it wrong.
decline. It's that there
Did
was
she say
so
yes?
much more feelings for Sal at that moment. And if she had known previously, she may have changed her decision before deciding that she wanted to be with Sal. And, you know, everybody's iffy. You know, they want to put different coins in different pots. Everybody just loved each other from different expected. Oh, you know what? Just go ahead. Sorry, I cut you off, but go ahead.
It's fine. Either way, she declined Jarrett's offer for marriage. And then Jarrett decided that he was going to go for another person that he was feeling. In this case, it's Iana. And he decided to be open and honest with her, saying, like, yo, I actually asked somebody to get married just now. They declined. So now I'm coming to you. I'm paraphrasing. But Iana felt a way about that because it's like, whoa, am I your second choice here? Like, what's going on? And he was like, nah, not even like that. Not even like second choice. It's like, yo, you were the other first choice. So it's like, basically, y'all were the choices. And my first, the original choice said no. So now you're the new first choice. You can't be second choice if you're now the first. You understand that logic? And she's like, wait,
you said
what?
that so well. You said that
Yeah.
so well.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your sarcasm. No, but
I'm just saying it must be a man thing to say it like that.
No, but that's I'm based on how he was responding to her. That's basically how it translated.
That's
right?
how it came out. Yeah.
Right. And the thing is, even just taking a step back, in the premise of the show, the issue that I had, or the thing that I was like confused about, was like, okay, these people are all blindly dating each other in these pods, and they're only getting to know each other so much, and they're taking notes, and that's all well and fine. At a certain point, they have to, or at a certain point, they decide that they're going to propose to someone, not knowing how they're going to respond. So the fact that Jared decided, all right, yeah, I'm going to propose to this first person, and they declined, right? My question is, and this is not necessarily defending Jared, but then at that point, it's like, all right, he proposed to his number one, quote unquote. They said no. And then was he supposed to be like, all right, well, I ain't interested in nobody else, so I can't propose to somebody else because that would be seen as I guess disloyal or whatever the case would be. So I'm done with the show. Goodbye. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just curious, like, how was he supposed to handle that situation where he was not supposed to allow this other person to feel as if they were a second choice? I mean, that's an open question, but if you have an answer for me, let me know. Probably I'm seeing it from a perspective that's not really popular.
There's no way that he could have phrased that to say that she wasn't a second choice. And I think that's where that glimmer of hope to try and say, hey, he was going to soften the blow, it'll never happen, because at the end of the day, she always would know that, you know, she wasn't number one. And she brought that up even before, I guess there was a whole dramatic reveal of her like breaking down when she walked outside the pods. And I guess, you know, it depends on the person. And that's where, quote unquote, everybody says as you get older, you get to settle down, because the same standards that we've had before and the same type of things that we look for in partners, we tend to like let them get washed away and watered down. So now, you know, you have to also think about it from Ayana's point of view. You know, she's also there with the same goal to find someone in the pods and get married to them. Is she okay with being someone's second choice that they are willing to settle down with? And in the end, are we ever someone's first choice? Is that also a question? Are you somebody's first choice always? Like, even if they pick you and you're talking to somebody else and you decide that person doesn't work out and you decide to go with the original person, were you ever their first choice? Or,
Right.
and
And
are you okay with being that? I think that's the biggest question. You might not get the chance to be a choice for someone or a priority or a top tier choice, but are you okay with being the next best thing?
now, so based on the context of the show and based on the premise of how they were dating other people, right? Of course, at a certain point, they had to narrow down the people that they were interested in and make a choice in who they went to propose to. And in that form of structure, there's always going to be someone who there's always going to be like, hey, this is my top choice, or this is the person that I'm really most interested in. And then there's going to be other people that are later down the line. And, it sucks that you're in a blind dating, circumstance where it's like, all right, I'm just going to go off my gut and propose or to express my love for this person that I don't fully know yet. Um, but my thing is like, I think when we are dating, as we are dating in the real world, we're never assuming that we're someone's second choice because we don't know the person's other choices. We only see ourselves in them. So and unless the person is explicitly stating, hey, I am dating other people or I'm seeing other people, just to let you be aware, then we're only assuming that it's A and B. We're not assuming that it's A and B and A and C and A and D, right? And I think that's why a lot of people get upset when we find out that someone that we're interested in is talking to other people because they're like, wait, you're giving all this attention to me. You're expressing that you're interested in me alone, right? But that's an assumption that a lot of us fall into where we assume that the person that we're interested in is just only talking to us, unless that's made explicitly clear through communication and dialogue. But unfortunately, we don't necessarily have that conversation early in the dating process unless it gets serious, right? Because no one is claiming.
I can't agree with you on that, and I gotta stop you there because, as you know, I am on dating apps, but I also go out on multiple dates, and when I do start talking to a guy, I let that know, ahead of time. I communicate that very well, but then I got a lot of kickback from guys saying that they don't want me to go out with dates with anyone else, but without anything to offer to me, like not even taking me out. This is just normal conversation. And at that point, I'm like, why am I limiting myself, to being, I guess, a first choice for now? Because I'm new. I'm new now. I'm your first choice now. But down the line, you're gonna want to see something else, and then start acting different and funny and distant and all of
Mhm.
that jazz. And then when we circle back to the original type of conflict at hand, it's like, well, I told you I didn't want you dating with anyone else, so I'm not going to do that. So it's more of a tit for tat thing. It's not really putting, oh, my feelings for you. Because for me, when I say that I'm dating around, it doesn't mean that I'm going out just for shits and giggles. I want to find somebody that I'm aligning with. And when I find that person, I would let that person know, hey, I'm really feeling you. I would like to pursue this further. Let's have that kind of conversation. But a lot of guys don't want to do that. They just want to play the field until one girl says no, and then somebody else says yes.
Right. But see, and to your point, you're absolutely right. And the reason why I brought up earlier about the notion of people not having that conversation early in the game is because I feel like once you ask like, yo, are you talking to anybody else? Then people automatically think, oh, wait, hold on, exclusivity? Like, whoa, hold on, way too early, right? So what I'm saying is that that conversation of exclusivity usually comes later on after as you're getting to know the person and after you've kind of established a foundation, right? So I
But
mean,
I
I
think it's
know
different with just us dating versus them in the pods. Like that, it's just like 10
right
times the
because
extreme.
Right, of course, they were forced. I mean, not forced, but they are put in a position where that's the premise of the show, where they have to. After well, we don't know how long they were communicating with each other. It could have been days, could have
That's
been
true.
weeks. Keep in mind, we're watching an hour-long show, so everything is condensed.
I
So
feel like it was really condensed though, maybe a couple weeks.
it might have been a couple of weeks that they were having these conversations, and then they finally decided, "Yo, I'm going to propose to this person." Parallel to real life, where you could be dating someone for weeks, months, however that long, and then you get to that conversation of, hey, are we exclusive or not? Right. And us saying, are we exclusive or not, is pretty much relates to them proposing to this person on the show, right? It's obviously two different things, but that's really what it is. So what I'm saying is some people will probably have that conversation at the beginning, like, hey, this is our first date, but are you talking to anyone? Are you talking to anyone else, or are you seeing anyone else? And people get very alarmed by that question, because it's like, well, wait a minute, are you trying to imply that this is just me and you and no one else is involved? Now, another thing, specifically when it comes to men, there's an ego involved to it as well. Men usually don't like being the alternate choice. They want to be the first choice because they want all the attention to be on them. And it's definitely a double standard where they never want to feel like less than when it comes to the person that they're dating. But when it comes to women in the same field,
you have to be okay with it.
Right. You have to be okay with it, because you just have to accept the fact that most men in certain circumstances have multiple choices. So, we have to, this definitely should be a debunking of that double standard, even though it is current, but debunk that double standard. And if you as a person, your standards is that, look, and we shouldn't even say like playing the field, because realistically, just like these reality shows, you are going around and you are trying to find someone that fits you, right? And it shouldn't be a matter of like, oh, I'm out here playing around, or I'm playing with people's emotions. It should be, hey, I am sourcing different people and getting to know them, and I'm finding the one that aligns with me. So even the way that we describe it and the language that we use with it is completely skewed, because it's not a matter of playing the field, or, oh, I'm just, it's really a matter of, these are the methods that are taking place in order for you to find someone that you like, or find someone that you want to be with.
Yeah. You touched on male ego, but let's talk about the fragility behind it, because again, when I say that I'm dating multiple people, a lot of men don't like to be chosen
they're big
as
hurt.
second best. But one person who has one of the biggest fragility in male ego was our man Shake on the show. And he was somebody who I felt should not have had such a big of an ego, because he was not my number one choice ever. So I wouldn't pick him, but he was very superficial from the beginning, asking women's clothing sizes, whether or not they'll be okay sitting on his shoulders at a game or a concert, just trying to do everything to weasel his way to figure out what a woman looked like behind the pods. And that wasn't the point of the experiment. And he tries to gloss it over with this, I was just keeping it real type of facade. And it is given Dave Chappelle when keeping it real goes completely wrong. Mm-hmm. And in that aspect, I was just like, I can't understand why you would try to get on a show that is clearly saying love is blind and try to sneak looks every chance that you get. And then hinting that he only wants a fair-skinned, blonde-haired type of woman, and that's his physical physique that he's been attracted to. And clearly that has not worked, because even things that you're attracted to probably aren't good for you. But he's been pushing that, and the fact that he made it emotional, quote unquote. I don't know how deep this emotional connection was with DT, and went that far and actually, proposed to her. I thought he was growing up. I thought that he was maturing just a bit. I'm not going to say people change overnight, but it was like, okay, I'm going to try to do this for love, because love is more than skin deep. You know, you try to get to know someone's attributes, what their goals are, how they love, how they argue, how they communicate, you know, that kind of thing. You figure those things out with a partner. And he went right back into, oh, we haven't had sex. I'm not physically attracted to her. She's like an aunt to me. And I'm like, oh man, you don't say that about your girl.
Yeah, don't call
Like,
your girl your auntie. That's
like,
that
you don't say
doesn't
that
that
about your
doesn't
girl.
that doesn't get
And
you
then the thing
anywhere.
is, it wasn't saying it in a, hey, bro, this is a heart to heart kind of thing. It was a dig. It was a straight up dig. He was dissing her every chance he got. And kudos to DT for being such a mature young woman without being angry about it, but being firm in her decision and letting him know how she felt up front. But I couldn't do it. So my question is, why are men trying to fake pump this kind of facade of trying to be a good guy, but deep down they are just fractured by any type of notion of asking them how do they feel to be involved with involved with someone romantically without having some kind of physical attributes tied to it. I don't know. That's
Um,
definitely Shake.
yeah. So Shake, I mean, on top of that, Shake at some point he admitted, and I didn't know if I should believe him or if he was even being real, but there was a point where he admitted like, yo, the reason why I was being superficial when it came to, you know, being in the pods and asking people these questions is because I had my own insecurities when I was young, and you know that led me to seeing people differently and blah blah blah, whatever. Hashtag therapy. But my biggest concern when it came to him and how he was approaching these different people was the fact that he just couldn't, the fact that he couldn't let go of the physical aspects of the people that he was like trying to get to know or whatever, and he was just trying to bypass the whole experiment by asking these specific questions, which made all the people he was talking to uncomfortable. um, was completely far away from the point of the show. But on top of that, it just goes to show what he values most. And even when he proposed to Deepti and he saw her in real time, he was shocked. He was like, "Oh, yo, this girl's hot." Da da da.
Oh my
Ask
God,
me.
he
Da da
grabbed
da.
her ass.
Right. And it's
Oh,
just like imagine
oh.
now imagine if this imagine if he decided to propose to a person that he was not physically attracted to, or he did not get to physically have a picture of in his mind, right? How would his reaction have been? And how would that have changed? So I feel like, you know, he felt like, yo, bro, I'm mad lucky I got, you know, this girl because man, she's smoking, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like if it was somebody that was not to his standards, that interaction would have went completely differently. And that once again, it it takes away from the whole point of the show where you're not supposed to be relying on these physical attributes. Now, you know, dating in real life and all that stuff. Yeah, I mean, we're all physical people. We all are attracted to, you know, people on a physical sense and stuff like that. And we definitely have our biases when it comes to um, how we view people and the things that we're attracted to. We get into this whole conversation of preferences versus standards and all these things, and that's always messy on the timeline. But realistically, I don't think half of the people that talk about the show could ever be on the show because, you know, we get so caught up. I mean, especially with social media and just the way that our physical bodies are constantly being advertised to us on a daily basis. When it comes to a show like this where we don't have anything to work off of, now we have to kind of look inside ourselves and realize, is my personality enough to carry someone to see me in a different light? And a lot of people's personalities are much more ugly than they are. So being on this type of show, they would never get with anybody, realistically, end of the day. And you know, that's where the real introspection needs to begin, where we take something from the premise of the show and realize, is my personality alone enough to want someone to be with me? And I feel like if
Yeah.
people were to really ask themselves that question, they wouldn't be honest. They couldn't be honest with themselves because they don't know. And yeah, so that's
I think that's
pretty
the
much
problem
what
with
that is.
Shake. He does not know what he wants in a relationship except how a person looks, and that's sad.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you said we have standards, but there's still people who are like, all right, I need someone who can talk or who's not as argumentative. They know what they want, something that's subtle, or somebody who can cook. Like he doesn't even know if Shorty who has blonde hair could cook. Like that might not be something that someone else wants, but a man who's looking for a wife that stays home and cook, that's ideal for him. But it looks like he has no type of secondary kind of standards when looking for a wife at all,
Yeah.
except that she has to look good. And some guys have that too, but then they can say she looks good, but she also does this. He can't say that because he doesn't have like a list of what he doesn't know if he wants somebody who's kind. He doesn't know if he wants somebody who's loving. He doesn't know if he wants somebody who's always going to be there for him if he's down, or to lift him up, or is able to communicate. Because she could just be a blonde girl that's me, spends his money, never thinks about whether he ate. That's a love language. And he went into Love is Blind with nothing and then had the nerve to say love is quote unquote blurry because I need to look because I have astigmatism. What? Man, get out of here. Get the hell out of here. I just can't believe that, and it makes me think like, what is the process to get on the show? If they're gonna let anybody on the show, what the hell? Like someone like anyone could go on the show. Yeah. It makes no sense.
Yeah, it doesn't.
But
I think there should be a mix called Love is Mute, where you don't hear the person, but you just see them, and based on how they look, you then decide.
That's even worse. That's what most people do at the bar.
But here's
that's what they do at the bar.
But here's the plot twist, right? You don't hear them, you see them, and then you decide, oh yeah, I want this person. But then once you propose to them and you hear about exactly how horrible they are, you can't say no. You have to commit fully through.
You pitch it.
Yeah. See, the thing is, Love is Blind, people have choices. On Love is Mute, you don't have a choice. You've already fell for how the person looks, so now you have to see it through, my boy.
Yeah.
Sorry. Love is Mute. I'm gonna pitch it to Netflix and see what happens. It's never gonna happen, but the premise, it's basically real life. Just
I like the tagline. It's basically real life. Wow.
Yeah,
that is amazing.
Because we do that all the time. I mean, if Twitter did not have profile pictures, or social media didn't have profile pictures, and we weren't able to post our physical selves online, people will lose their minds.
That's true.
We already treat, when it comes to people, and yes, if people are physically attracted, they're physically attracted, that's fine. But dudes are already commenting under pictures of people they consider baddies or whatever, #wifey. It's like, would you really marry this person because they're a good partner for you, or is it because they have a body that you prefer? And the answer is they would marry this person, and then when they realize, oh my gosh, you have a horrible personality. Nah, women are crazy. Nah, she wilding. Oh my gosh, they so annoying. But men's be menin. So,
that's so true.
What you gonna do?
Moving on, I did want to touch on Shane and Natalie. Mm-hmm. And all of this is allegedly. Shane and Natalie was another couple who they had a bit of a love triangle as well too with Shayna. Apparently Shayna and Shane, cute name, right? They were also talking in the pods, but Natalie proclaimed her love for Shane before Shayna did. So that was a whole mess in itself. So in that instance, Shayna settled for Kyle, and Natalie and Shane became engaged. Now, Shayna and Kyle didn't even make it on the altar because Kyle is an atheist and Shayna is a strong believer in God. And I guess she tried her best to play the Love is Blind card and push it, but after they met the family, she decided to say no. But they had like a little reunion on the beach where she saw Shane again, and you could see that there was a little bit of a tiff because I guess she spoke to Natalie and she mentioned that if it didn't work out with her and Shane, she has a friend for Natalie. So she was kind of hinting that they won't work out. So
Which she
here you go.
allegedly said was a joke. Haha, girl, that was a joke. I didn't really mean it.
But you know,
Shay-
frenemies say jokes like that.
Shayna was a shady bitch. We all know it. But carry on.
Yeah, so but I wasn't gonna give the limelight for that because she basically was trying to steal Shane from Natalie. But allegedly, everyone was hinting that Shane was on something the entire show. And
Oh yes, I heard this rumor.
I can't say for sure if that's true. I mean, he showed very impulsive behaviors, very erratic mood swings sometimes, a lot of movements that were disorganized, and his eyes were always bulging. We don't know if he was on something or if he has a type of hormonal problem. So allegedly, we can't say anything. But I think Natalie may have known, and that may have also been a reason why she decided not to say yes to him at the altar. But my question is, what do you do if your partner or your lover is someone who is on a particular substance, i.e., an illicit drug or elicits some kind of self-hate towards themselves or says things inappropriately and like violent emotional outbursts? Would you still be with them and would you still love them? Because Natalie and Shane also broke up because of quote unquote one argument the night before the wedding. So it had to be something pretty big. Like I know he was saying some horrible stuff to her, but there has to be more layers to it. So how would you, navigate through that?
Well, you know, and as you mentioned, it was a rumor, so we don't really know if this was the case with Shane. But if it is the circumstances where I am dating someone or I'm destined to marry them, and then they are suffering through substance abuse or other problems like that, um, if I really love the person, I would want to get them help. I mean, that's just me. If I really loved them and I wanted to dedicate my life to them, I would want to get them help if there is a clear and present danger. That's what I would do. But once again, in the premise of the show, they've only known each other for a few weeks. So Natalie, in this circumstance, if it was the case that Shane was on something, she, even though that would have been the ideal thing or the kind thing to do,
She don't know, brother man.
right, she's not extremely obligated to kind of dedicate her life to being with this person that might be exhibiting these issues. Now, it doesn't dismiss the fact that this person may still need help or she probably does care about him, but at the end of the day, it's like, this is too much. I'm not equipped for this, so I have to step back. And it's sad that, we probably have relationships or people that are in relationships that, and even if you take it bigger outside of just substance abuse, we have a lot of people who are going out with a partner that might have mental issues or other things or other ailments. And it's challenging. It is a challenging thing to have to navigate that person in that space. But if you really care about them, you want to be supportive by being there for them and doing anything that you can to help them and help them be better. So it could be the case where Natalie just wasn't equipped for that, for whatever it is that Shane may have been under. But outside of the show, I feel like the kind thing to do would be to, if you care about that person, to help get them help and stuff like that. But a lot of people aren't equipped for that, and it's okay to not be equipped to help someone who may be beyond help from your perspective, right? Because it is a lot to handle, and I feel like, yeah, especially when it comes to the show, especially when we were talking about Shayna and the other guy, when it came to their standards, like she was not willing to dilute her standards when it came to the relationship. And even though he was like trying to bend and twist, saying like, "Yo, I will settle and I will kind of rearrange my beliefs for you," she was just like, nah, that's something that I can't accept, or I would never let you do in order to maintain the relationship. So, you know, outside of the shenanigans and drama of the show, there were a lot of takeaways, just like the situation with Shayna and that other dude, and Shane and Natalie, that we could take away
Kyle.
and apply to our Kyle. Oh, yes, Kyle. Sorry, didn't really know the names that much, but yeah. I mean, there are a lot of things to take away from that, and I just feel that as ridiculous as the show may have been, very entertaining. I'll give it that, very entertaining. But once again, I don't know if I could be on a show like this, or maybe I could. I mean,
I think you could.
If I was single, of course, I would I don't, yeah, maybe, but I don't know. Maybe, I don't know.
I think you would, but you would never marry.
Wow.
You would never marry.
Wow.
You wouldn't.
Wow. I'm not even going to dignify that with a response. I'm just going to say wow.
Would you? I don't think you would. You
on the show?
If the premise
of the show
fall in love, you would propose, you would do all of this, but I think once you get to that altar, you wouldn't say yes.
Wow, you do not know me then. It's called growth. Wow, it is the laughter for me. All right.
You know what? And it's funny because I know all of the friends and the audience members who know you personally know you wouldn't say yes. It'll be so cute. Well, you will be very lovey-dovey and forgiving, but then you'll think about it, the same concept. You're like, shit, this is forever, and I don't really know shorty. And then you're gonna get yourself in that self-doubt.
But now here's
just spin, and then you'll spiral.
Let's utilize context here. Let's utilize context, because once again, these people are only getting to know one another within week spans. And yes, even outside of the pods, and they're getting to know each other more, they're building that relationship or strengthening that relationship. But realistically, if someone doesn't feel comfortable with marrying somebody, even after they don't get to see them, but then get to see them and then spend a couple of weeks together, I think rightfully so, they have the right to say, yeah, nah, this ain't for me. Even if I have gotten to know you.
Your answer tells me all.
No, I'm not saying that's me. I'm just saying that I see why that would be someone's response or someone's premise. I'm not saying that that's me at all. I can't even imagine being on the show. I can only imagine the notion of, hey, let me be behind a wall and that would be fun. But I can't imagine being on the show, because for me, that's not how I operate, or that's not how I want to operate when it comes to relationships where I only am getting to know this person in a short amount of time, and then that's my decision. I need more time. It can't be 4 weeks. I can't just say 4 weeks for me. I need to know this person for more time than that before I would, in the show's context, say, yeah, this is the person I want to marry. For me. So you're probably right in the context of the show where I probably wouldn't marry that person. But in the sense of marriage, that's something that I would not take off the table when it comes to someone that
I didn't say you won't get married, but when it comes to the altar of that show, it's a big no, and I'm firmly sticking to.
All right, well,
what I
sure.
say.
I mean, I have not been on the show, so I don't know what my response would be. But if you feel like I would not go to the altar and say yes to whoever that person is, then cool. So I go on the reunion show, and I'm showing my ass, and now the audience is booing at me. Fine. This is an alternate reality anyway. So end of the day, I'm not on the show, and that's that.
I just think that, I don't know. I guess just to end that, everyone just settles. You're gonna have to be someone's other choice, whether it's first or second. You're just the other choice. Because, if you go into any relationship thinking that you're a choice, you're going to have this constant paranoia about what happens if, or this person doesn't do this. But you chose, I guess, the end goal. This is why Love is Blind. I've always said that the end goal is to be with somebody that you choose to want to be in a partnership with. And I think that holds more weight than how you got there, but how things will progress and how things will end with like each individualized relationship. And that's the point where people tend to quote unquote settle down. You know, a lot of people like to throw out 80-20, settle in, blah, blah, blah. But you find somebody you work with in a partnership and then it just grows magically from there. It can be a very beautiful thing.
And let's not get it twisted. There are a lot of people out there who are getting married at very fast, like, oh, you've heard stories like, yo, they've only known each other for months and now they're engaged or they're married or whatever. So let's not make it seem like this is not the circumstance at all. Everyone has
They're making choices
preferences.
of what they want.
Correct. And that's
And when two
totally
people
fine.
align, right? When you find somebody that you align with and they align with your morals and your end goals, it's hard to find because when you're out here dating and you're like, oh yeah, I would like to get married and have kids. Oh no, I'm not really looking for marriage. Then you got to keep moving until you find somebody who looks for marriage the same way that you want to look for marriage, and then y'all can build from there.
But
So
then
it
the
doesn't
plot
matter
twist.
if you are. What's the plot twist?
No, I'm saying the plot twist is that people sometimes get married for the wrong reasons, and now it's like, yeah, we want to get married, or I want to get married. They do get married, and then they realize, oh, we're not really aligned on anything else. We just want to get married, so we are escaping the stigma of not being alone, and that's where divorce comes in, and that's sad. So, I mean, I think there has to be.
Great way to end that.
No, I'm. It's not. I'm not trying to like be a downer, but I'm saying that divorce is real. Let's not sit here and pretend like it's just a magical theory. Like divorce is real, and I feel like people who really are dedicated to marrying someone that they actually know, trust, understand all these things is it's not just about saying yes to the dress, which is another reality show. You know what I mean? Like you really have to be dedicated not just to that person, but to yourself, right? So I mean, yeah. At the end of the day, you know, shows like this, you know, as I said, it's all condensed because we're watching it as a show. But you know, there's a lot to it, and I feel like I don't know if these relationships are real or not. What do you think? I don't know.
I think people choose what they want and they get out of life and they make sure it happens.
Okay. And that is that.
Yeah.
All that to say, we are not being paid to advertise the show, so
we're not. But I think it also just stems that a lot of people they try to mirror their lives with the show, and I think that's important. And a lot of people are invested with this, especially those who are single, and they just want to see a happy love story and hope that can happen for them one day. Word. But then when they see the bullshit that keeps going on with Shake and freaking Mallory acting like she don't know who she wants and Shayna trying to sabotage a friendship for a relationship, that's where it comes into real life because that shit happens. It happens.
Yeah.
It happens every day to other people in those same similar situations. So that's why people are so invested. Like, damn, my homegirl did that the other day. Like, what the fuck? Like,
word.
Oh.
That's sad.
Yeah.
But for those still searching for love, just you know, keep hope alive because there is someone out there for you. For real. No, I mean I believe that. I've always believed
even
that.
Me?
But, yes, even you, friend.
Whoa, shit, even me. Nah, I don't know if this beast can be tamed.
You calling yourself a beast is not a good start to
You know what someone told me? I have a very dominant type of personality, and I guess that's what scares men off because I can be very dominating, and I don't need a man for nothing right now. I know.
Are you an alpha female? Yuck!
I don't think I am.
These two words.
I really don't think I am. Which is sad.
No, I'm joking. That is not. I don't think you are at all. Nor do I think that phrase even means anything. But
it doesn't mean anything. But I never really even saw myself as an alpha female. I just saw myself as me. Now that right man that comes in, I am submissive, baby. Daddy, what you want me to do? I'm that girl. I'm totally into that shit. I am. But there is no guy, i.e. Shake, that is forthcoming of that for me to allow myself to be submissive. And I think a lot of men miss that point. They may see a dominant woman and say, oh, wow, she's just done a third. But the true power is her toning it down to be submissive for you. And a lot of men don't realize that part. That's the heavy part. Once you get that, oh, baby. Ooh.
Bing, 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 bing. Right answer. Right answer indeed. All right.
And also, sorry, alrighty. Don't take submission as a negative word either. It's not some place. Yeah, a lot of people hear that word and they take it to a negative place. It's really not a negative place, because a guy can also submit to his wife too. And that is also preached in whatever vows that you may believe in, or whatever vows that you may create on your wedding day. But those are the type of sacred words that you say to each other in partnership. And that's why marriage and partnerships are so heavily deep and involved, because those words have meaning behind it. Not just say, oh, you're a simp, you're this, you're that, honor, obey. That all those words have meaning to it, that you guys are doing this in y'all individualized partnership. I'm gonna just step off my soapbox with that one.
Let's save that spice for another show, shall we?
We could talk about marriage and how single I am. But okay, moving on.
All right. you wanna wrap up the show with another installment of the Block List?
Oh, you mean Rovie's Queen of the Block List?
Yes.
Oh, you don't sound that happy. But let me tell you what I'm blocking this week. All right, I'm blocking Zoom. The app, the platform, the meeting type. I'm blocking every Outlook, every face of it. Zoom was cool before, it's like a updated Skype. And it's not given what it was supposed to be given, especially now with the pandemic. It's just been a bother. It kills regular interactions with people, regular conference calls, regular day-to-day-ish with people. And I just hate the fact that we all use it for work, play, social, parties, for everything. I understand it's a pandemic, but it's too condensed for me at this moment. Everything is a Zoom meeting. And I understand, the logistics of being away or long distance and this and a third, but it was okay having it in increments, but doing it every day, every hour becomes too much to handle. And it bothers me because at times I have to run to a Zoom meeting if I'm extra late. I mean, the convenience of it is that I could just roll out of bed, but then I gotta take off my bonnet. I gotta put on my wig. I can't cook in the middle because they want you with the
camera
screen on,
attentive,
talking. It comes to a place where my own individual space is blurred. I don't know what's an office versus a bedroom versus a bathroom versus a kitchen versus my living area. I don't know where the fuck I am sometimes when I'm on these Zoom calls. And then it's worse even when I have to drive and it's an immediate meeting that we have to do. I don't like the fact that the intervals between Zooms are so close together. And that's my issue. I understand it's something that we have to do post-pandemic, post-COVID-19, but I'm blocking Zoom right now. I don't want to do another Zoom meeting. I don't want to turn my camera on. I don't want to engage. And especially when you're doing something very social, like work, I get it. Conference meetings, we do webinars and we do different types of things there. But the whole Zoom parties, it don't be busting like it's busting.
Yeah,
Zoom dates, it don't busting like it busted.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It was cute. I had one online date. It was cute. We ordered me food and we drank, but then afterwards I was buzzed with nowhere to go, no one to do, nothing. So I was like, what the hell? Like, it was cute. Yeah, we had dinner together, blah, blah, blah. What am I gonna do now? Go meet Bob?
Oh.
Right. So I'm blocking Zoom. Your face. Why the face? Why the face?
No, because you're
Why the
making
face?
points, and you're making points, and I'm just listening, and I'm just like, wow, yeah, didn't even think about that. Zoom was. I mean, yeah, for work purposes, Zoom makes sense. But no, I mean, we used to have like the quarantine party Zoom stuff back in the early panties, and those were fun. No, those were really dope. When we weren't outside as much, but now that outside is opening, it's just like, all right, Zoom, I'm done. Stop pinging me. No more camera on. It's too much. I'm
You
exhausted.
know,
Zoom fatigue is real,
if
son.
yeah, Zoom fatigue, that's exactly what it is. But I'm blocking it. And if I was smart, I would have put some damn coins in the damn Zoom stock investments and made a little money. But my dumb ass didn't even do
Yes.
that. And now Zoom is gonna go down because people are gonna come back outside and summertime's coming, Memorial Day is coming. People are just gonna be outside doing whatever the hell they want to do. So
Big word.
here we are. Yep.
And that is that. Yeah, you're right. Good thing to add to the list. Yes. The irony that we're using Zoom right now, but that's neither here nor
But
there.
you know how you know how I feel about that. Every time we start, I always want to leave the meeting, and that's just the PTSD from the Zoom that I get every day. And I maybe that's why I figured it out. Why I just want to say leave. At first, I thought it was a me thing, but because it's like always in your face. It's so concentrated. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, Zoom. Give me Zoom Light for now. Diet Zoom. Diet Zoom. Something else.
I hear you. All right. Well,
that's what I'm blocking this week.
Okay, that's what's up. Do we have anything else before we get out of here?
I could end with one of my rovisms if that's okay.
Yeah, let's end things off on a light note.
Even though we ended with this block list, I still want to just turn it around, give it a full 180, and just give my rovism. And I always try to say this to myself whenever things get shaken up, and I'm like, man, fuck that. But I just need to remind myself often, just work hard and be nice to people. That's it. Very simple. Simple mathematics. KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Work hard and be nice to people. And, things will fall and align where they're supposed to.
All right. Well, thank you for your rovisms, Rove. I'm sure the audience could take that away as they get their week started. I'm going to have a segment next time. I haven't fleshed it out, but I'll have something next time for everybody. I like these segments. They're really cool. They're dope. I just want to make sure my ducks are in a row before I bring it to the audience. So
just like a man.
All right. So we're just gonna I'm not even gonna step into that rabbit hole. I'm not gonna step into that bear trap. No, thank you. You got it, girl. You got it.
You got it, girl. You got it, girl. All right, Drake.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you all for joining us. Thank you all for listening to the conversation. If you want to hear this episode and more, please check us out on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Also, make sure to follow the podcast on Instagram and on TikTok and on Twitter as well.
Twitter.
We are definitely out there on those platforms. Also, make sure to follow us individually on our own platforms and our social medias as well. And just make sure to continue sharing and liking the show. And we have more things coming at y'all soon.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to send an email, of course, email us at sophigpodcast@gmail.com. Anything you want to send, questions, if you want to be a guest on the show, or if you just need some advice from either Vixen or myself.
Yes, definitely send those emails. We are checking them all the time. So we'd love to hear from y'all. And that is it. Okay. That's all I have this week.
Not A problem with me because I got plenty more next week.
Hey. All right, y'all. We will catch y'all next time.
Adios.
Say goodbye, Rovie.
Bye.